Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this series concerning the practices of meditation, the spiritual sciences, I wanted to kind of lap back for a bit and talk in more depth about the structure of the soul. Because before we can begin any practice of what we might call spiritual work, any practice of self-development in a very transcendental sense, the first and primordial and utmost question, as was described by the great Greek oracles in ancient times, is to know thyself. To ask this question of the utmost importance, who am I? Who am I? Or rather, because the answer, who am I, you might only answer with a personal identity. What am I? What am I truly and what is my essence? Because the tree in the height of the noontide on a summer's day may flourish with sundry colours, but also it is the same tree which has withered and lost all its flowers and greenness in autumn. Also it was the same tree when it was but a sapling or a seed buried within the dust of the ground. The same thing may take many manifold forms and myriad manifestations. It seems, have this body, have this personal identity, have this mind, have these memories, by which we interpolate an identity which we think ourselves to be. But that was the same I, which was before we were born, when we were but a fetus in our mother's womb. Also it shall be the same I, when we are dead, whatever form that may be. There is some singularity, a unity, which subtends all these forms of manifestation, like the center point of a circle, about which the circumambience of all its multitudinous aspects circumambulates. This cyclical imagery is superabundant in many mystical texts and mythical descriptions. In fact, many mystics have said, and so they spake, that they saw themselves to be a sphere of pure light, that when they were abstracted from the body, they witnessed themselves to be a purely spherical form, neither part being distinguished from another, and no thought being distinguished from another thought, but being a pure unity, some pure presence. Now, whether we agree with that or we do not, whether we accept the validity, the epistemic validity of mystical experiences or we do not, regardless, to merely reject some possible form because it is not amiable to our understanding or something we have not temporarily experienced is truly the height of ignorance. If there is truly a possibility that we are not this physical form, but we are something perhaps deeper or perhaps just something else, surely that is a reality to truly be explored, to be tested, to be deeply investigated. And anyone who has not seriously contemplated and pursued this reality has not truly stepped foot upon the spiritual path at all. Now here, I may be presenting a map, a diagram, The purpose of this and the purpose of any spiritual instruction is not to indoctrinate, not to prescribe, not to instill a dogmatic template of what is, but rather it is to inspire, to elate, to energize the spiritual observer, the spiritual subject, that he or her, by themselves, seek and deign to explore these realities. That is, the purpose of a map is not to deliver you from the journey. The map is there to guide the journey. Like someone who has read a world atlas and therefore thought himself uh, independent of the need to travel. He has seen a map to some destination, and so said, I have completed the journey. The purpose of the map is there to be traversed. The purpose of these theoretical ideas is to be truly witnessed. And I may have said multiple times that this word theory, this beautiful word, in Greek, this word meant originally to witness. From the same root, we have the word theatre. A theatre is a place of theory, a place of witnessing, not just seeing or witnessing, observing something unfold. These theories are the height of spiritual practice. To truly experience and witness these spiritual marvels, to witness, to bear witness to the truth with a capital T. In Arabic, the word for theory likewise is translated as nazar. And this word, nazar, has a meaning of not just looking or seeing, but deeply, intensely observing. This diagram, these maps, these theoretical ideas are here to guide us towards a realization. They are here to truly guide us upon a journey which we can embark to some realization. If we have heard of practices such as, let us mention fasting and physical discipline, well, if we are to truly explore something more than the body, that which we call spiritual, that which we call metaphysical, we need to be able to see and experience beyond the body. That does not mean a denial of the body, because nothing can be denied, only affirmed. Denial is merely a form of affirmation. There is no denying the body. The body is real. The body is a reality. So let us not entertain ideas that the body is fictional, that it is an illusion. It is a reality, one that we meaningfully experience and inhabit, but it is not the deepest true reality. It is a reality contingent upon a deeper reality, even as the leaves of a tree are not the essence of a tree, but they outgrow from that essence and may be lost, but the essence remains. The body can change, it can transmute, can be lost altogether, but the underlying essence stays. Physical abnegation is not the end of the spiritual path. Neither is it a principal purpose. but it is a fundamental method and necessary condition which allows us to inhabit that which is deeper than the body and more essential. And I think that is a good way to introduce this subject, because it is something theoretical. And to move into the theoretical requires us to have a familiarity with the practical. For example, if one would like to study abstract mathematics, he should first have been acquainted with a sufficient repository of concrete examples, so to truly be able to contextualize the theory. Every text has a context. Every theory has a theater of manifestation. This theater, the theater in which we observe the glory of God, is the body, the temple of the body. But that temple needs to be cleaned. It needs to be cleaned so that it is empty. The temple of God needs to be emptied of all idols, because idols will take the place of God. Not because God is confined to a place, but because our minds will be so betokened with the idols that it will not see He who is beyond all idols, the pure reality which underlies all forms. Therefore, the beginning of this spiritual path is an abstraction from the body, but that really requires a mastery of the body. We cannot ignore it, cannot deny it, cannot destroy it, not meaningfully, but we must master it. It is like our steed, like our vehicle, like our flaming chariot, by which we shall reach unto the sanctuary of the Godhead, by which we shall burn through the myriad planes of existence, by which we can ascend to the singular peak of the transcendental self. What we mean by the closeness to God, to sit in the presence of pure existence, of the absolute reality. We need to harness the body to allow us to do that, like we would train an animal, like we would build and maintain a vehicle, like we would clean our house, our rooms, our temples. This is the foundation, being here embodied. And in the next videos, let us speak in more depth hereof.